My name is Anthony Estrada. I'm 37 years old. I was born and raised in Beaumont area, a few minutes away from Crafton Hills College. I began taking classes here in roughly 2007, I believe it was. I first took EMT school here in 2008. I'll never forget my first teacher. Professor Carl Nicholson was my first EMT instructor here. Born and raised in the area, graduated from Beaumont High School in 2003, and didn't really know what I wanted to do after high school. And with not really having an end goal in sight when it came to college, I was actually coming home from one day from class, and a car accident happened right in front of me in Beaumont, where I was living. I was going home. And there was two accidents. One vehicle pulled out in front of the other, kind of T-boning the other vehicle. And like any good Samaritan would, I pulled over trying to offer any assistance. The older gentleman who had gotten hit, his face was kind of busted up and bleeding from the airbag. His wife, what I believed, she had the dashboard pinned on her legs and she couldn't really go anywhere. And the other vehicle, the driver was just sitting in the vehicle. I didn't even bother to go and check on him, but I didn't know what to do. The lady was screaming, asking for help, and I had no idea what to do. Next thing I know, two big red fire engines pull up. They block both areas, both ways of traffic. And one of the guys, which I didn't know who he was at the time, just believed that he was a firefighter. Now I know he was the firefighter paramedic, got out and asked me if I was involved in the car accident. I said, no, it's just them. And he said, okay, with all due respect, step aside for me. Beaumont PD, ambulances, tow trucks, all kinds of stuff started showing up on scene. And within a matter of 12 to 15 minutes, the dashboard was cleared off the lady's legs. All the patients were loaded up into an ambulance and taken to the closest hospitals. And the tow trucks were pulling the vehicles both up on the flatbed tow trucks. And I was kind of blown away because I personally had no idea what to do. And here these guys show up in a big red fire engine with lights and sirens, you know, and all this gear, and they knew exactly what they needed to do to provide first aid. And I was like, that looks pretty cool. I want to be a part of that. Followed the fire engine to wherever they were going. I didn't really know where they were going at the time, but they were about 7 to 10 minutes or so up the road, and knocked on their front door. And I asked, hey, how do I do what you guys do? And they laid out the path for me to kind of become like a volunteer / PCF and go to school to get your EMT, get your fire academy, and kind of different avenues would open them up from there. But just coming here, and all the instructors in the EMS program that I was here, this was way back when Dr. Holbrook and stuff, and all these instructors were here. They all knew you on a first name basis. They all cared about, it seemed like they genuinely cared about you. When they would ask you, hey, how are you? How are your classes going? It didn't seem like that they were just having like a conversation with you. It seemed like they genuinely cared. And so that was my favorite thing about here, is like, oh my God, that instructor knows my name, and I don't even have a class with them, but they see me walking through the halls because I'm going to EMT class, and they're the lead paramedic instructor at the time. So I always wanted to come to Crafton's paramedic program. Well, unfortunately, my first stab at the paramedic program in 2012 didn't work out so well. I lost my grandfather in 2012 as well too. He was like my father figure growing up. I made it through the written process, the written EMT exam and the written anatomy physiology exam. But when I had to come and do my skills, he had passed away the week of, and I chose to go to his funeral services, obviously. And I had to skip out on pursuing that process into the paramedic program in 2012. And when he passed, a small part of me passed away with him. And so I just never felt fully comfortable coming back in. I wanted to pursue other avenues and kind of had to deal with some other life circumstances. So I deviated away from the paramedic program, went and worked for the Forest Service, one of our local fire stations up here in San Bernardino off the 210 and Del Rosa Avenue, the Del Rosa Hot Shots, and did that for the last 6 years. And everything aligned up for me to go to, or to reattempt, I guess I should say, to Crafton's paramedic program in 2021. I took the entrance exam. I passed the written EMT and anatomy and physiology exam. And I started to get cold feet again because I hadn't been here in 9, almost 10 years at the time. And I knew it was what my grandfather wanted me to do. It was a lifelong dream of mine. And so I showed up to my interview in the skills and felt like I crushed it. And they said I did good as well too, because then I got accepted into the program, paramedic class 98. And here we are now, and I'm graduated and getting ready to take all my National Registry exams. And the biggest thing again about the paramedic program was I never truly felt like I was on my own. Of course, I had my classmates with me, but every instructor that I had helped me along the way. All the instructors were very supportive of us, especially me in particular. And they also let us know that if there was anything that we ever needed outside of what Crafton's program could offer, that there was avenues that we could pursue, whether it was financial assistance, whether there was some job placement stuff, whether there was help with books, whether there was scheduling conflicts, help. Some of our guys, had trouble having childcare, so they would mix it. Okay, instead of coming to class on this day, we're going to skip class this day and we're going to put it to this day. So there was always a plan B or a plan C for us. And I actually found myself in a financial bind towards the beginning of my internship. I thought I was going to have to take a leave of absence from my internship because the job that I was doing, I did personal training on the side, and around the holidays time, personal training is usually the first thing to go. And my clients, I'll pick it back up, in January or February of 2023. Well, unfortunately, my bills are still going to show up every month. And I didn't know what to do. My bills were slowly but surely adding up. And without an income coming in, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I had reached out to Amanda and said, hey, I know I'm getting ready to start internship. I might have to take a leave of absence. And she, of course, called me and was like, why, what's going on? And I said, well, I've lost my job with being a personal trainer, and financially, I just don't think I can continue on with the program. And she had said that there's avenues for us to help. I need to reach out to the foundation, let them know my background, let them know a little bit about what I'm going through. And I was like, foundation, like what's the foundation? She was like, well, there's people that are willing to help financially with circumstances like this. And I said, okay, cool, what do I need to do? She said, just send me an email, give me a little bit of backstory of what's going on, what type of financial crisis you're in, and maybe there's some people that can help you. And I said, okay, so I sent her an email, and within a few days, she responded back and said, the foundation would love to help you. Decide on a dollar amount, forward this email to this person and this person. And Carrie and Michelle were phenomenal. They helped me with everything that I needed, and I wouldn't be sitting here telling my story without the foundation's help of helping me through my financial crisis through internship. So may God bless all of them, because for most people, paramedic programs are, 6 months, a year, 18 months. For me, this has been a 10-year journey for me that has finally come to a head, and without everybody involved in the foundation, wouldn't be here having this interview and talking to people and letting people know that there's avenues out there. You just have to be willing to say, hey, I need some help. And I finally did that. Thank God that I did. Otherwise, again, like I said, I wouldn't be here telling my story to you today. With asking the foundation for assistance, most people, you have mom and dad and, grandma, grandpas, things like that you can lean on for those type of things. Well, for me, unfortunately, I didn't have that luxury growing up as a kid. So my father, he actually overdosed on heroin the night I was born, and didn't even make it to the hospital to be with my mom the night I was born, March 24th, 1985. He actually was in a coma for the next 2.5 years. His side of the family decided to, after 2.5 years, being that he was brain dead and didn't have good sustained quality of life, so they actually pulled him off of life support after 2.5 years, and he passed away. So I was 2.5 years old when this all happened. So I never had my father around, My stepdad came into my life when I was about 3.5 years old, and he was in my life from 3.5 to 11. When I was 11, him and my mother actually got into an argument, and I grew up on a big 40-acre ranch in Cherry Valley. So my grandfather, he had animals all the way from rabbits to horses to cows, all that good stuff. And we had BB guns and all kinds of stuff around the property. And I had, BB guns set up outside, and my mom and my dad got into an argument, and there was alcohol and drugs involved. And he went outside and grabbed one of the guns and started shooting. My mother panicked. She dialed 911, and local law enforcement, Riverside County Sheriffs, showed up, and my stepdad actually shot one of the sheriff's officers in the side, and he was charged with assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder on a peace officer, and he got 25 years. The week before was my 11th birthday. It was March 17th. My birthday is March 24th. So that was, put a damper on my 11th birthday. And then that was when my grandfather stepped in to do the best that he could. He was a military man, 17.5 years in the Navy. So everything was very, very stern with him. It was yes sir, no sir. I got up and helped feed all the animals on our ranch before I got up and got myself ready for school, from elementary school all the way up to junior high and into high school. And he was the backbone that I had for a father figure growing up until he passed away in 2012. Well, my mother, she became a functioning alcoholic over the years, and started putting alcohol in front of her children. It was a bummer because she was an amazing woman. She would do anything for us growing up as a kid. She'd work overtimes for me when I needed basketball shoes, football cleats, anything like that. But just life, raising kids on her own and living paycheck to paycheck started to add up. And you could see it on her, and I was able to understand that as I got older. But as I got older, alcohol was her number one priority, to where she became a functional alcoholic. And it got to the point to where if I didn't call her before 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, she'd be inebriated, and I wouldn't be able to understand anything that she was saying or anything like that. And, I kind of lost touch with my mom over the last 4 years. I tried to get her into rehab. I tried every avenue that I could to get her to better herself. And for a while in Beaumont, she lived legitimately 1.2 miles away from me. I would jog over to her house with my dog, and I'd check in on her every single day or stop by. And it got to the point to where I asked her to slow down on her drinking, and she said it wasn't gonna happen. And if I didn't like her decision to leave her house keys that I had on my key ring on her kitchen table, and to please leave. And that was about 4.5 years ago. And I haven't spoken to my mother since. And I miss her every day. And it sucks because a lot of people take that type of stuff for granted. Haven't gotten a birthday call from her, no Merry Christmas. I don't call her on Mother's Days because I know that she's not in the right state of mind. So it's just best for me to love her from afar. But so where most people can lean on moms, dads, grandparents, I wasn't able to. And when we talk about the foundation is what I leaned on. Again, without them, I wouldn't be able to sit here and tell you my story, and what a great help they were, what a great help Amanda and the entire staff here at the paramedic program has helped me. And I'll be forever indebted to them. And as long as I can come back and teach, if I can come back and if I can be a preceptor for a future paramedic student, I would love to. Whatever I can do to help out, as much as they have helped me. And that's the thing, is I don't think I can express it to you guys in words on how much the foundation has helped me, but I don't think that they'll ever truly understand how much they helped me to fulfill my dream of becoming a paramedic. Because again, without them helping me financially, there's no way I would have been able to finish. And life could have happened, and if I would have had to take a leave of absence, I might have never came back. The bills would have just kept showing up. Life would have happened, and I don't know if I would have ever graduated from Crafton's paramedic program without them. So thank you. The best advice that I could ever give anybody who is considering donating for the foundation to help students like myself is This is my biggest thing on why I wanted to tell my story, because of people like you that donated. Without you donating, whether it was your checkbook, whether it was for your time here at Crafton, whether it was an anonymous donation and cash, or whether it was an anonymous check or a wire transfer, it doesn't matter how the funds got there, or your time, or a canned food drive, and you handed out a bunch of Stater Brothers or Walmart gift cards. It doesn't matter, whatever you did. You donated pencils, books, calculators, doesn't matter, whatever you did. Students like myself were able to accomplish our lifelong dreams because of what you have done. Without you doing that, there's probably and guaranteed students in the future that aren't going to be able to accomplish these things. So if you're ever on the fence about donating, or you're, oh, should I do this or should I do that? I'm asking you to please do that, because without people like yourself, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do. And again, I keep going back and I keep saying this, but I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you doing this interview and telling my story without people like yourself. So thank you.